Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Courtside Investor. I'm your host, the Card Boss. As you can see, I'm not in my studio. I'm actually outside, and near where I used to work. As you can see the background, the buildings over there. That's my office, old office was actually there, which I spent a good 10 years or 11 years actually. So right now I'm just sitting in the coffee shop, just opposite where I used to work. Got some stuff to be done today. And also having a afternoon coffee right here. So looking good, all this. Today's video, not going to talk anything about investing or finance. Cooking a more of a reflection kind of video because today is June the 19th, which means that just a couple more days we're reaching to the end of June, and that will mark 18 months as a full-time card investor, reseller. Basically quit my job and to do this full-time. I thought it's also really interesting just take up the phone and just to do a kind of reflection. I got some notes here, just thinking back on, the journey that I've made in the last 18 months and just to share with you guys some of the ups and downs and also the learnings I have during this period. So maybe you guys can take something out of it, right? So the first and foremost, I want to talk a bit about this, the goals I actually had when I first started this journey. Obviously, I've been working corporate for a good 20 years in finance mainly. And I've been good at my job. I earn a decent income. Life is decent. I'm on track actually to make a lot of money. Quickly stay on my line. But I felt that, something was not fulfilled. I made a lot of money for people in the past. I enjoy doing that, but the repetition is just, getting a bit boring. Just want to do something a bit more exciting. All things that I wanted to do, it comes down to my passion, which is trading cards and of course sports cards. And of course, that was not come out of blue. It was reignited during the pandemic. I think most of us can share the similar experience. So therefore, I've got a sense that, this is my calling. So, of course, from a financial perspective, the goal was to try to make this work financially, to self-sustain myself and also my wife. There's only two of us, so we have no kids. So, expenses are kind of low for the two of us. So, we're in Malaysia, so generally the expenses are pretty all right. So the idea was just to just do enough to self-sustain for the two of us, and just to continue to do this and do the things that we enjoy, eat some high food, travel around the world. So that's essentially was the very simple goals that I had. And of course, I wanted to build a business to become something that I can be proud of, something that was, of course, to make some money as well. I'm not going to do this to lose money in the long run. Nobody will do that. Okay. So the objectives were pretty clear. And, I believe everybody, when they want to do this full time, they always have this mindset that it's always easy, okay? Or maybe it's always difficult. But until you really do it, then only you can really experience, the challenges and also the joy of running your own business or sports card business. In my case, my business is a bit different from some of those that you see on YouTube where, they're based in the US and so I'm based all the way in Malaysia and my business is 100% remote. I talk about this in many other videos that I've had before on my business model. So that was one thing, goal on both, to try to make this thing work. And I think that given now we're still in about 18 months, I kind of think that I got everything ironed out in terms of processes. No, that's not perfect, but definitely, I've gone through the tough time to put things together. So, of course, along the way, I get to know about the things such as understanding your strengths, weaknesses, in doing cards. We'll kind of share a bit about that in my earlier videos. Like, I'm not an extrovert kind of person, I'm wired, to myself kind of thing. So I enjoy a lot of quiet time, a lot of thinking time. I'm not the kind of person that would like to go out there, and give a bunch of speeches. So it's kind of weird, that I actually doing YouTube. And because YouTube gives me an outlet to kind of practice, the things that I'm not good at, to face the camera, to talk to you guys. And maybe, just improve my interactions with people as I meet them in real life. Some of them when I'm shows, they say, hey, I recognize you, and, guys from around the region, the Philippines. And through this podcast as well, I've met a lot of collectors and, have a lot of conversations with them. Of course, centered around Bobby mainly, which is the common topic cleaners. So, my weakness is kind of addressed in a sense. Of course, there's a lot of things to grow. And strengths, my strength is finance, and I use a lot of the learnings in the last 20 years to apply into business. And because I think I got a bit of a leg up compared to some people who, you love the hobby. Most of us, of course, love the hobby studies, but without a strong business sense from the get-go, you kind of, get a bit of a rubbish start off in me, because I've been in business of corporate finance for the last 20 years. So I kind of know how businesses get set up, because that was actually my bread and butter for many, many years. Okay. So that being said, of course, throughout this period, 18 months, I had many, many wins because of the experience, but of course, there many, many, many mistakes as well due to my certain inexperience in many, many things. So it's not been, all the way through, right? So of course, I take advantage of all these learnings and to try to make myself better and go forward. And it's been 18 months, and I look forward to the next 18 months and beyond to go further. And I do have lots and lots of bigger targets and goals and objectives. Okay, so one of the key challenges of this business that I realized that it's that everybody speaks about this is actually cash flow management. Okay, so obviously buying is easy, right? You can put a lot of money in your accounts. You can start off with big capital. Some people start small, some people start big, but it's always managing the cash flows, the ins and outs, because, you always buy something with the expectation to sell. People say, just buy this on eBay or not, and somebody will just come buy immediately. That's not necessarily the case. And of course, I've done my part to try to manage that by going through the auction route. Okay. And that itself has its challenges as well, because even if something sells to an auction, you have to really get paid. Okay. So of course, cash flow presents some level of challenges as well. And, for me being based overseas, moving inventory around between countries, there's logistics issues as well, timing, hackers, customs. So all of that presents lots of challenges, and all of that actually disrupts our cash flow. And moreover, because I'm based in Malaysia, so things are paid in US dollars. So of course, I have to deal with foreign currency fluctuations. When I first started in last year, 2024, the currency has come down actually, by about, I think, 15%, which is a lot. Okay. So which means that if I had bought things in early January of last year and following today, I would have immediately lost 15% without actually pursuing that thing. All right, so foreign currency is a big challenge as well for me. One thing that I want to do more is car shows. I really do enjoy the car shows. I went to Hong Kong car show. I spoke about that. We had a recent Malaysia car show as well. But one thing, because I'm in business, as you guys well aware, I don't carry any inventory on hand. So going to a car show can be very challenging because I have to bring back stuff. But that being said, I'm actually heading to the Macau car show, the big Asian car show that's this year. It's months of planning. Yeah, the planning has already begun. I will do a full video on that planning. It's a very different from what you guys need accustomed with. For most of you guys, you wanted to show, just pack everything into a Zion case and then, off go. But mine's a bit different. So it'd be an interesting story to tell. Just to share with you my perspective on how a preparation for a car show, especially a big car show like Macau, is compared to the others. And through this, I hope to do a bit more, because the challenges of running fully remote online business and trying to balance your inventory between that and a car show has its issues, which I'll talk about in the video. So, but definitely, this last 18 months, I have opportunity to attend only one car show, which is the one in Hong Kong. The one in Malaysia doesn't count, but I just did have I had a table, but didn't really do much on the show besides doing some content. Okay. So one thing I talk about in the last 18 months, the landscape of the hobby has definitely changed quite a fair bit. Okay. I think that if we even compare back to the pandemic times, it's totally different from where we see today. But where I do see that there is a difference in shift in how people collect and buy cars. There is, of course, I would say categorized as the low end stuff. People who still genuine collectors buying something that's between 10 to 100 to $200. Okay. And of course, there's a lot of higher end stuff. We talk about like 500 to 1,000 to $1,000. So somewhere in between, if you're anywhere in between, you kind of a bit lost, right? So I think the landscape of the hobby is you gotta be in the segment. And if you're doing as a reseller, You got to be serving either segment. You can try and do both, but sometimes it's a bit challenging. Okay. One will have high volume transactions, lower margins, and the other one is the opposite, low transactions, high margins. But then again, holding cost is equally as difficult for the both sides. Okay. So that's one of the things that the landscape has changed a lot. And I believe it's going to consistently change. Okay. Now, I'm speaking solely on basketball, but that's the only thing that I do. Things may be different for baseball. I think baseball and hockey is really picking up, although I have no knowledge or experience in any of those sports. And football being football, the cycle is pretty recurring, I think, for football, but due to my lack of knowledge in the sport, I'm very hard to stay away from that. Just focus solely on basketball, which is enough to keep me occupied all year round, even during off season. Okay, so that's basically, I think, me reflecting back on the last 18 months. I think that if you ask me, do I second guess my vision to do this? I don't think so. This vision to quit my job to do cars full time, to do what I enjoy, what I love, okay, has been on my mind for quite a while, even since the pandemic period. So finally, I put action. Definitely it's been tough. Definitely it's been a lot of learning and that's still a mistake. But thoroughly enjoy it. So right now, I have the luxury of sitting in on a random weekday to this Thursday, just having afternoon coffee, talking to you guys, and just enjoy some ice coffee. And back to the work after this, to look at stuff to buy, because it's always a good thing that we want to be doing all the time, which I just absolutely love. All right, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoy this episode of Courtside Investor. We'll have more true content on investing and finance coming forward. Be sure to like, subscribe for the channel. The next one. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up.